Hello friends, this video on biological classification part 7 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Okay, so now let us look at, that was a autotrophic bacteria, right? Now let us look at some heterotrophic eubacteria. As I said, heterotrophic can be saprophytes or parasites. So let us look at the decomposers. Let us see how do the heterotrophic eubacteria can also help us, because whenever we think of bacteria, we feel that they can only harm us. They can be of no good use to us. But let us see, is it that they can only harm us or they can have some advantages as well? Now, heterotrophic eubacteria act as important decomposers, that is, they feed on dead and decomposed matter, and thereby they help in decomposing the dead organisms. Examples are Bacillus, Streptomyces, Pseudomonas. These are all examples of heterotrophic eubacteria which act as decomposers. So here in these pictures, why have I given these pictures is to get an idea about how bacteria look like. These bacteria are the ones which are responsible for producing curd from milk. Have you ever seen how is curd formed from milk? You would have seen in your house also, your moms might be preparing curd in your house. So how do they do that? They take a bowl of milk and in that they put a bit of lemon and then they just leave it like that. And in a due course of time, maybe overnight, you see that the milk turns into curd. So is it a magic that actually happens? No, it happens due to a kind of bacteria known as lactobacillus. The word lacto means milk. Lacto means milk. Bacillus means bacteria. So lactobacillus is responsible for producing curd from milk. They also help in making antibiotics. They help in nitrogen fixation. So how do they help in nitrogen fixation? Okay, we will have a look at that. So how and where do these kind of bacteria help in fixing nitrogen? Now first of all, we know that nitrogen is something which is very much beneficial to the plants. It helps the plants for their growth. It is one of the macronutrients for plants, right? Now these kind of heterotrophic bacteria, they are present in the legume plants. When I say legume plants, what kind of plants am I talking about? Plants like peas, soya beans, they all fall under the category of legumes. So in these plants, in the roots of these plants are present these kind of symbiotic bacteria. I was talking about symbiosis, right? A kind of association where both the organisms are mutually benefited. So here in this picture, you can see the legumes. So here you can see the roots of the legumes where you can see these kind of bacteria present. So one example is Rhizobium. So Rhizobium is one such heterotrophic bacteria which helps in fixing nitrogen to the soil. It is present in the root nodules of the legume plants like peas and soya bean. So what do these kind of bacteria do? These bacteria produce nitrogen compounds that help the plant to grow. So that is how it benefits the plant. And what is the benefit of this bacteria? This bacteria obtain its nutrition from the plant. So the plant is also benefited by the bacteria because it is getting nitrogen from it. And the bacteria is also getting benefit from the plant because it is getting its food from the plant. So both are benefited, and this is an example of symbiosis. Right? So Rhizobium is again a bacteria which helps in nitrogen fixation. So these are some of the important uses of heterotrophic bacteria. So we can say that it is not only the diseases which these bacteria cause, they can also be beneficial to us in some or the other way. Now while I was talking about decomposers, I mentioned the examples of Bacillus, Streptomyces and Pseudomonas, right? So here to tell a little more about them, this Bacillus, they help in decomposing plants as well as food materials. So dead plants and food materials. When I talk about the Streptomyces, they again help to decompose plants. When I talk about Pseudomonas, they primarily help in decomposing oil. So you have different types of bacteria to decompose different types of things. right? So this is how heterotrophic eubacteria are beneficial to us. Now let us talk about the negative side. Let us talk about the pathogens. Now, I talked so much good about the bacteria. That doesn't mean that bacteria will only do good to us. At the same time, they can also harm us. They can give rise to many severe diseases which can even take away a living organism's life. So pathogens are nothing but the disease causing bacteria. So let us look at some of the diseases which are caused by some specific bacteria. For example, typhoid. So typhoid is a very common disease and it is caused by a bacteria, Salmonella typhi. What is the Salmonella typhi? Just to check if you remember what I taught you in the previous lesson. I spoke about nomenclature, right? So here this Salmonella typhi is the binomial name of a specific bacteria. So Salmonella denotes the genus and Salmonella typhi together denotes the species. So for the same Salmonella genus, you might have many different species, right? So Salmonella typhi is the bacteria which is responsible for causing typhoid. So when this bacteria enters inside your body, your risk of suffering from typhoid increases. Cholera, caused by Vibrio cholerae. So this bacteria, again, mostly it enters through contaminated food or water. When you eat something from outside or something which was not hygienic, this kind of bacteria might enter your body. Tetanus, caused by Clostridium tetani. Tuberculosis, which is often known as TB, is caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Syphilis, caused by Treponema pallidum. So I know the names are quite tough, but it is good if you can remember these names. So because it is beneficial for your knowledge, because these are some of the diseases which are very common, which keep happening to many persons around us. So we should know that which bacteria is responsible for causing these diseases. So it is good if you can remember the names. And also please remember to write the binomial name in the correct way. Genus should start with a capital letter. Species should start with a small letter. It should be written in italics. And the spelling should be correct. Right? Okay. Now we will talk about another important bacteria, that is E. coli. Now since we are talking about pathogens, that is we are talking about bacteria which cause diseases, so it becomes very important to talk about E. coli because it is one of the bacteria which is famous for causing stomach infection or stomach disorders. So E. coli is a rod-shaped bacteria, as you can see here. They are found in the lower intestine of warm-blooded organisms like human beings. So they are generally found in the intestine and most of the times they are harmless. Even though they are present in the intestine, they will not cause any harm. They will just take away some nutrients from our body, but otherwise it will not cause any harm. But some of them can cause serious food poisoning in human beings, and that food poisoning can be really serious. So E. coli, you would have often heard there are certain medicines or there are certain antibiotics which are available to fight against E. coli. So E. coli is a very common name when you talk about food poisoning. So this E stands for Escherichia coli. Now let us talk about another type of bacteria, that is Mycoplasma. So what is Mycoplasma? It is a parasitic bacteria. That means this bacteria is heterotrophic. It depends on others for its food, and moreover it is parasitic. That means it lives inside the body of some other living organism. So it is not saprophyte. It is a parasite. It has no cell wall. So see, that is again a peculiarity of these kind of bacteria. I was telling you some time back, right, that what is the need that we are, even inside bacteria, we are talking about different types of bacteria. Like why are we studying Archaebacteria separately, Eubacteria separately, Mycoplasma separately? Because even though all of them share some common characteristics of bacteria, like all of them are unicellular, all of them are prokaryotes, but there are certain specifications which are different in each of them. So consider the cell wall. In Archaebacteria, how was the cell wall? The cell wall was extremely strong and rigid, consisted of muramic acid, because of which the structure was also a little different, because of which it could withstand the adverse environmental conditions. In case of Eubacteria, the cell wall was rigid, but it was not that rigid like Archaebacteria. Now when I am talking about Mycoplasma, they do not have a cell wall at all. So even though they do not have a cell wall, we can't say that, okay, Mycoplasma doesn't have a cell wall, so it should not fall under the category of Monera. We can't say that, because there are many other characteristics which resembles with bacteria, right? So this is where is the need to divide the kingdom into phylum, right? So they do not have cell wall. These are the smallest living cells. So we see that bacteria are the smallest living organisms. So in bacteria also, since we have so many different types, the smallest bacteria is Mycoplasma. Habitat, where do we find them or where do they live? They are found in the human respiratory or urogenital tract. So these are the places where these kind of bacteria lies. Now, if a bacteria is present in our body, that doesn't mean that it is causing harm. It is also seen in blood smears, because of which it has got the name Mycoplasma. Plasma has come from blood plasma. But it can cause disease. It has the capability to cause disease. It can cause Mycoplasma pneumonia. The organism or the bacteria called Mycoplasma pneumonia can cause pneumonia. You all know about pneumonia, right? It is again a very common disease. It is caused by Mycoplasma pneumonia, right? Okay. So with this, okay, there's another disease which it can cause, that is feline infectious anemia or FIA. So again, anemia is something which is related to lack of blood, right? So since this Mycoplasma is also present in the blood smears, so they can cause diseases related to blood. Thank you. Please visit www.examfear.com to watch more videos, attempt free online test, get free study material, find tutors and mentors. Thank you once again.